down the basement, lock the cellar door, and baby, talk bloody to me.
Hi, welcome to another edition of Talk Bloody to Me. I'm Matt,
And I'm Breezy.
and this week, Thou Shall Not Fall, because we're talking about The Lost Boys, which
I
that
love that
song,
song.
is that not the best song in a movie ever?
Yes. I love that song.
Yeah, me too. So anyway, today we are talking about The Lost Boys. Two of the actors will be at Minnesota Crypticon this year, I believe.
Yep, which is Chance Michael. He played Lowdery, Laddie. I
One of the
think it's Laddie.
vampires. Okay, yeah,
Yeah, one of the
Laddie.
vampires. And then Jameson Newer Newlandrum, Alan the
Uh-huh.
Frog.
Okay, so the Frog Brother, that's not Corey Feldman.
Yep.
Right on. So one of the
So those two are gonna be
vampires,
there.
that's cool.
Yeah, I'm excited for that.
Me too. So um Lost Boys is always a good one to watch around Halloween. It's always a fun one, but we decided to break it out and watch it this year. But Breezy, when was the first time you ever saw Lost Boys?
I think the last time you said last time, right?
Or I said last time. I meant to say first time.
Oh,
I
first
actually
time.
did say last time.
Okay, well, last time besides reviewing for the podcast on this episode, the
Hmm.
last time I seen it was last year during this time of year.
Right on.
Um, First time I've seen it was on TV, and I think it was on Sci-Fi at that time.
Okay.
So I was probably like a teen when I seen it.
Sure.
What about you?
I was actually, I think it wasn't until I was maybe in college. And it's kind of a weird story because here in the town I live in, St. Cloud, there was actually, when the movie The Lost Boys came out, there was like two teenagers that murdered a homeless guy and drank his blood. And the one said that they were like really into the Lost Boys and vampires. And so because of that, the movie was basically like shadow banned almost. Like before, like it
Mm.
was like almost impossible to find. Like even in the town I grew up in, which is Piers, which is north of here a ways, a small little town, but there was just like these like almost people would like whisper about it, like, oh, the Lost Boys. That people got murdered because of that movie. And so like in my mind, it got built up to like this super like horror, scary, monster, evil movie. And then when I finally saw it, it's like goofy and silly and fun. It's like not that at
I,
all. It's
Yeah, actually never knew about that until you said something about it. I'm like, oh my God. And like you sent me the article, and the article really states in there it like oh what happened, which is kind of sad.
it is really.
But it's like when people get like very upset, like obsessed with some type of a horror movie, which is a vampire or whatever the case may be, they might be a little bit too obsessed with it and trying to play the actual role and
Hmm.
stuff. Especially like when they want to be the Lost Boys and drink blood and kill this poor homeless guy. They had no idea.
Right. Yeah, exactly. So
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 sad.
because of that, I actually didn't see it for a long time. And then when I did see it, I was surprised that like I was expecting it to be this dark, serious, like evil, almost like satanic movie. And it's not. It's like an 80s teenager fun vampire kind of silly almost. It like I think it even is described as a horror comedy and there
Yep, I was just about to
comedy
say that.
elements to it. But what are some of the your favorite moments from the Lost Boys?
I want to say like the beginning, obviously like the sound. I like the sound and how it goes right to like, to the fair and all that stuff and all that fun jazz. And then my favorite one is when they on the dirt bikes and the Lost Boys, well, they're vampires, but the Lost Boys, they're on the dirt bikes and they're like racing. I do
Yeah.
like that scene.
Hmm.
I love that one. And plus the whole music just goes really well on certain scenes too.
Oh yeah, the soundtrack and like how it's all, the sound editing and everything is so good. That opening scene is probably one of my favorite openings of any movie ever. Like not even just horror movie, but just where how it's like that aerial shot coming in at night over like the carnival or whatever you want to call it
Yep.
and that song is so epic. I'm not gonna try to sing it again, but we all know it. And yeah, it's such a great shot. And then they're like on the carousel, and it just gets going right off the bat. And
Yeah,
it
it's not
basically,
like a slow pace. It goes to the point, pretty much.
yep. So you have Corey Haim and you have his brother and his mom, and they're moving to California to live with their grandpa. And it turns out that this town is infested with vampires. And he meets Corey Haim's character, meets the Frog Brothers, which is Corey Feldman and the other guy. And they're like, they work at the comic book store or they hang out there, and they're like the trained vampire hunters, but really they're just like the middle school kids that think they know how to kill vampires from
Well,
reading
he
comics
did
and
pick
stuff.
up. Well, he did pick up that vampire magazine. Oh no, not magazine, comic. That
Yeah.
comic, and it says right there, like something vampires or something like that.
Those comics had lots of actually very useful information. Like I
Right.
feel whoever wrote those was like were those supposed to be the Frog Brothers were writing those comics, or they just knew about them, but they like had
It,
actual tips.
I think they knew about him.
Okay. Because there's a part later where his mom goes to deliver food to her boss at the video store. Like how 80s does it get to have your job as you're working at the video store? This is like a super 80s movie. If you just want a nice.
Fuck, I miss those days. I was born in 1989, but it's like 89 in the 90s. Come on now. That's the best era, I think.
Agreed. Anyway, I went on an 80s nostalgia trip and lost my train of thought. Oh, she tries to bring him something, and right as he's reading in the comic book about how vampires have the hounds of hell that guard their lair during the day, the guy's dog starts going berserk and like trying to attack him, and it's like, ooh, that's suspicious.
Yeah,
That's
and the kid's like in the bathtub too, washing his hair, and the dog's like sitting there in the like, and he's coming in. He at this point he already drank the blood from the
mm-hmm.
lost boys in that cave type deal.
Yep.
He's like, "Come on, be one of us, be one of us." And then he drank the bottle,
Yeah, they were
not all
super
the
into
bottle.
him.
Yeah, I didn't. He didn't drink the all the bottle. I think he had like maybe few sips or so.
Yeah. You got David, who's like kind of the leader of the gang. That's Keith Sutherland. And then you have Jamie Gertz is the chick. Um, and then you have three other vampires, and I don't know their names, but the one is the same actor that's Bill from Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. And every
Hmm.
time I see him, I think he's funny because I just think of Bill from Bill and Ted, except as a vampire with a big blonde curly mullet, and I just can't take him seriously.
Oh, geez, you can't. You just can't.
But so Jamie Gertz kind of lures Michael, and I remember Michael's name because they say it 100 times. They're like, Michael, you're one of us, Michael. Michael, drink it, Michael, over here, Michael. It's like, good God. So I remember he's Michael.
Uh-huh. I think like because I'm pretty sure you're gonna ask me this question. What's my favorite Lost Boy?
Mm-hmm.
I my probably my all-time favorite is like the blonde guy. I forgot his fucking name.
Right.
He's
Dave.
yeah, he's the head
Yeah.
of the whole Lost Boys. I like him and I like Michael.
Yeah. They're the best.
Yep.
When they're in the lair, he does like some hypnosis mind games or something where he's eating rice and he's like, how are the maggots? Those are maggots you're eating. And he's like, what? And then he looks down and then it's all
Yep. But it's actually rice.
yep. And then they're like, how about these worms? And then it's like, and he's like, no, it's just noodles. And he's like, it's just noodles, Michael.
Yeah, and he's just fucking around with his mind.
Did you ever see the thing on Instagram where it's a picture of David and they have a whole bunch of ramen noodles on his head and it says, it's just noodles,
What?
Michael? Yeah.
Wow. When did you see that?
A couple months ago.
Oh, geez.
Yeah.
That's actually kind of funny.
Yeah. If I find it, I'll post it.
Okay.
But yeah, so then they give him a bottle that looks like wine and they're like, drink this. And then she's like, don't drink it, it's blood, but he's already been bullshitted twice with the maggots and the worms. So he's like, yeah, it's blood, whatever. And then he drinks it, but it's like, oh, it actually was blood. And now he's
Hmm.
half vampirized. And so
Yeah, I could have sworn like before I said this as a recap when I watched it, I could have sworn that one of the Lost Boys ended up beating Michael, but I thought wrong. No, he drank the bottle.
yeah. Yeah. I know, I kind of thought that too, but I guess not. So, because
Yeah,
usually in
no.
vampire movies, you got to get bit or you got to get your blood drained first or something. But
Mhm.
yeah, so um, it's kind of interesting because, and then they kind of figure out that he's only a half vampire, and if you can kill the quote unquote head vampire, all the half vampires will be cured and return to normal. And so they go, they recruit the Frog Brothers to help them go on an assault on the vampires. And the last half hour of the movie is kind of where it really takes off, where
Yep.
they invade the vampire's cave. And I just remember the first time I saw that when they're like looking around and then they look up and they're all hanging from upside down. And that's just a really
Yeah.
cool moment.
Yeah, that part too. What do you about what do you think about the sex scene in that cave?
Oh my God, that's hot.
Yeah, see it? It's fucking hot as
That's
hell.
a super, that's right up there. That
Yeah.
that's a American Werewolf in London quality almost.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
similar effect, but yes.
Yeah, how could I good I'm glad you mentioned that. I almost skipped right over that.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, that's a
Yeah,
hot sex scene.
it definitely is. And yeah. See, now you just ruined my train of thought again. Yeah,
Oh, I'm
got me just
sorry.
no, but what I was gonna say is when they have the vampires final attack like on their house, and one of the Frog Brothers says, no, when the vampire dies, they sometimes it can be messy or whatever. And when those vampire death scenes, every one of them is pretty epic,
Yeah.
honestly.
I really like that when the kids prepare for killing, the Lost Boys. I really like how they get like fill up a bathtub full of like onions and all that stuff. I'm like, good.
Yeah.
But
They
it
go
kind of reminds me of these kids and the scene, how they're doing it, and the look of the cave kind of reminds me of the Goonies.
Yeah, definitely. I actually had the exact same thing. And they even say he says something like, come on, Mike. Come on, Mikey. And one of the Goonies characters is named Mikey, but they're talking to
Yep.
Michael, but they say something
Yeah.
like, come on, Mike. And they're in this dark cave. And like I totally had, yes, exactly the same thing. I had like a wave of like Goonies deja vu. For a second, I thought I was watching the
Yep.
Goonies.
Yeah, that's what's like, God, it just like it's like makes me want to. It's like it feels like a Goonies movie, that Goonies movie, but it's
Yep.
actually not. It's just like how it's just what the stuff that's in the cave, how they're doing it, what they're doing. It's just like kind of
Like
it
even just
gives
like
you
how
that
they're
vibe.
moving around, like how they're like crawling up and down on things and moving.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Oh, but they go into to get their holy water. They just go running into the church with like
Yeah.
canteens, and there's like a wedding or something going on, and they're just like in the back, like doo, 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 don't
Yep.
mind
Don't mind
us.
me.
Yep.
Gotta get some holy water.
Yeah. But they fill the bathtub with holy water and all that crap, and then they throw the one vampire in there, and he basically dissolves like acid. But then to really put the cherry on top, all the pipes start bursting out with in the drains with blood and so like this black crap that's just like
Yeah.
like through the whole house. It shows
You
them
get yeah.
erupting.
The ending, how they kill him and stuff. It's really damn good. I like all that stuff. How the kids kill him. I like the bathtub scene.
Hmm.
Not so much like getting the holy water, but I just like the preparation of killing the Lost Boys. Sorry, I can't fucking talk today.
It's okay. Yeah, it happens to the best of us. Um, but yeah, how they that part reminds me of Goonies too, even. But and there's also a point earlier where they think the his mom's boss is the head vampire, and so they try to do all these tests where they try to see his reflection and all that, and that's kind of a fun scene too. Um, so overall, what would you rate The Lost Boys?
I would definitely rate it 9 out of 10.
Yeah, why not a full 10?
Um,
I'll
people
say I was gonna
probably
rate it 9 too, but I
people
want to
would
know your
probably
one.
people probably want to hate me. I feel like it's even though that's 90s, I feel like it's lacking a little bit the killing scenes just a little bit. And I
Yep.
just want to see like more blood. And I want to
Hmm.
see like how Michael when he drinks that blood and transform into a vampire,
Hmm.
like into the Lost Boys.
Yeah. Exactly. I agree with you 100%. I was going to say basically the exact same thing. I'm rated at 9 out of 10. And the reason I don't rate it a full 10 is because it does have that little bit of comedy and silliness and goofiness. And honestly, I wish it just was a straight, serious, badass vampire movie, and was like a little bit more serious and a little bit more bloody and a little bit
But
more.
see, it's like the Lost Boys, so it's
Right.
like they're like brothers goofing around and killing.
Yeah,
So it's
exactly.
like they really cannot be really serious. I mean,
True.
that's how I look at them. Like their brothers are goofing around. They're like vampires. They want to kill.
Yep, exactly.
But I also, yes, I do want to see the seriousness about them too.
Hmm. So, besides this movie, what's another vampire movie that you would recommend?
My favorite one is probably Interview with the Vampire with forgot his fucking name. Brad
Tom
Pitt,
Cruise. Tom
Tom
Cruise and
Cruise,
Bad Pitt.
Yep, Tom Cruise and Brad Pitt, Kristen Dunst. That's a good
Yep,
one.
that is a damn good one. That's probably my all-time favorite too.
Hmm.
Yep,
Yeah, that's my go-to
yep.
always.
Cool. So any final thoughts on, I feel like there was something I really wanted to say about Lost Boys, and now I can't for life of me think of what it was. I'll remember it after we're done recording.
Yeah, that's what happens. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh shit, we should have talked about this. I'm like, oh well. I mean,
The grandpa, we should mention the grandpa. He's kind of a character.
yeah, he's funny.
Yeah, he's a
He's def
kook. Well, now I want to go back to the 80s and get a big blonde perm mullet and work in a video store and get like a jeans vest, a jeans, drive around a motorcycle in California, find Jamie Gertz, take her to a
I can so see you do that, but you probably look so funny.
right.
Oh, I do like the style, the look of like the women too.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Like it
Definitely.
gives me the 80s rock. I fucking love it.
Exactly.
Love it.
Yeah.
Good classic movie.
Exactly. So that wraps it up for another episode of Talk Bloody to Me. We want to thank you for listening.
And we
Um,
got CrypticCon in 2 weeks, so
2 weeks. Woo!
so excited.
Lots of fun stuff is going to be happening there. I'm sure we'll be posting pics and vids and stuff. And
Oh
we'll
yeah.
so stay tuned and thanks for listening.
Thank you.